cats and kittens, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the MonkeyBoy Presents DC Comics Superhero Collection by Eaglemoss, and today we have issue number 37 for you, Batgirl. And I bet you guys are surprised to see that this isn't the Batgirl you were probably expecting, especially from the last teaser. I'm sure most of you were like, who in the world is this? Well, this was, at least at the time, the current Batgirl, Cassandra Cain. She's actually the second person to call themselves Batgirl. Barbara Gordon, of course, being the first, Commissioner Gordon's daughter. But after she was crippled by the Joker in a story known as The Killing Joke, she took on a new persona, that of Oracle. She's sort of an information broker to the superheroing community. And we have now Cassandra Cain, or we did anyway. It's been rebooted, it's a mess, but whatever. Diving into the magazine first, as always, it'll tell us pretty much everything we need to know about this version of the Batgirl. And then we'll take a look at the figure itself, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, really fun figure, actually, overall. I hope you guys enjoy this issue, number 37, of the DC Comics Superhero Collection by Eaglemoss, Batgirl. First up, the character section. Cassandra Cain was born to be a killer. Her father, David Cain, was one of the most deadly assassins in the world and was actually a lieutenant who answered to Ra's al Ghul and his League of Assassins. After her mother left, Cain trained the girl from basically childhood to be an assassin. He didn't teach her how to read or to write or to speak, believing that she could use those centers in her brain to read body language instead, and that's exactly what happened. She became a proficient weapons expert at the age of only 8, and Cain took her out for her very first kill. Jump ahead a few years after living on the streets, and we find 17-year-old Cassandra Cain in Gotham City. After saving her father's life, Barbara Gordon kind of took in Cassandra and noticed the potential in her right away. So after weeks of training with Cassandra and instilling in her the belief that you do not kill criminals, Batman handed over the mantle of Batgirl to her. She eventually became Batgirl once again, and took on the likes of Deathstroke and his daughter Ravager. We also learned that Cassandra interrogated her own father in an attempt to learn who her mother really was. So, finally learning the truth that Lady Shiva was indeed her mother, she sought her out and found that Shiva was now working with the League of Assassins. After the confrontation with her mother, Cassandra disappeared for a while and then resurfaced, but was assassinating people again. Robin, Timothy Drake, learned the truth that Cassandra was under the influence of a mind-altering drug, and he provided her with an anti-serum, knocking her out of this sort of stupor that she had been in. Next, we take a look at some of Batgirl's classic storylines. First up, we have Batgirl, issue number 1. And although this is issue number 1 of Batgirl's own monthly series, she had been around the DC Universe for a few months at this point, appearing in other Batman titles. But this solo series gave the writers a chance to flesh out her backstory a little bit more. We get to see flashbacks of her childhood when she was training with Kane. We also see her training with Batman, making sure that she's stable and able to handle this. We also get to see Cassandra struggling with her inability to communicate vocally with people. It's a very insightful story, and the artwork is fantastic. We also have Batgirl issue number 64. And this issue is from cover to cover a big, long, knockdown, dragged out, bloody fight between Batgirl Cassandra Cain and Deathstroke's daughter, Ravager. And it's fantastically illustrated. It really is one of the best fight scenes I think I've ever seen in a comic book. But it also gives insight into Batgirl's mentality and how she thinks when she's fighting. We actually get to hear her thoughts as she's fighting, analyzing Ravager's strategies and moves. The Allies and Enemies section feature, of course, the Batman family, Batman, Nightwing, and Robin, as well as the original Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. And finally, the Original Thinking section continues the DC timeline with Part 28, Earthly Delights. We learn that 3,000 years ago, a Cro-Magnon man and woman were kidnapped by an alien entity known as the Maw, and he transformed the female into a being called Chimera, who was tasked with bringing him other beings to sort of sacrifice to him. We also learn that one of Darkseid's parademons appeared in Egypt thousands of years ago, but was killed by the evil priest Hathset. And here we have Batgirl. And man, what a stunning, stunning figure this is. And this was another one, much like Raven, that could have been really awful, you know, just really plain, really bland, but unlike Raven, she's not. She's really, really well done. I love the fact that they went with the closed mouth on the cowl, the no eyes. You can see there's actually the stitching detail on the mouth there. It's awesome, just so nicely intricate. I love how high the ears on the cowl are. It's a really wicked looking cowl all the way around. And the variations of the black are really, really nice. As you can see, her suit, the legs and the chest and the arms and everything is a nice matte black. And there's some really nice detailing on it to give it sort of an armored look almost, like it's got padding, bulletproofing or something. And then the gloves, the boots, and the bat symbol are this nice glossy black to give it different textures and to break it up a little bit. The inside of the cape is a dark glossy, while the back side of the cape is again a sort of nice flat matte with some really good shading though to show off all the wrinkles and things in the cape itself. It's really, really well done. I love how she's holding the batarang, the utility belt. It's just a beautiful figure all the way around. And the pose is really nice. Talk about it a little bit more here with some better pictures. Batgirl stands atop the DC logo, and the underside of her base features her name in a couple different languages, along with serial number. Also a quick shot alongside the dynamic duo. A shot of Cassandra with the Outsiders. as well as a group shot with the rest of the Teen Titans. This version of Batgirl is absolutely one of my favorites, both in the comic books and in this little lead figure form. She's a really stunning figure. There are so many intricate little details on her. If I was to really take a lot of time on it, this review would probably be close to 20 or 30 minutes long. So I'm going to try and go through this as fast as I can and not ramble too much. The good. The cowl is fantastic. I love the high pointed ears. I love that they went with the mask where it's completely faceless. They don't have her mouth exposed, her eyes exposed. It's all covered. It's so wicked that way. But they did take the time to put the stitching around the mouth, just as it appeared in the comic books. Really nice touches. I love the cape and how it's bunched up around her neck, not like Batman's where it's attached to the shoulders. How it flows over her shoulder, and they actually give it a little fold there, and the way she's holding it in her left hand is also very nice. Again, they kind of make it fold over on itself. Really nice details there. The way it's waving in the back, the shading, everything about it. Also, the bat symbol is fantastic. Again, hand-painted symbol. That yellow piping is a little bit raised off of the rest of the body of her, and the glossy black of the symbol is really nice. When you look at the rest of the suit, is this really flat black, so they gave it textures. The gloves as well are a glossy black, and they have the ridges of the wings there on the underside of the gloves. The boots are a glossy black. It's just really nice touches like that. Her legs also look armored, as though there's bulletproofing, as I said, on the suit itself. Her utility belt is also unique when you compare it to Batman and Robin's. The pouches are bigger, they're bulkier, and I love the buckle in the center. It's a really nice little detail. The Batarang is also a fantastic little touch. It's just a really unique pose, and she looks kind of aggressive, as Cassandra would be. So, I mean, she's just, I think, stunning on every level, really. The Bad, absolutely nothing to speak of on her. There's a couple little flecks of paint here and there, but nothing to complain about, honestly. The Ugly. The thing to watch out for on her, of course, is that Batarang. It is the weakest point on the figure. If she falls, it's going to snap. Her ears, you might want to watch out for as well. They can be kind of mangled. I've seen a couple pictures of them where they're a little bent or just sort of odd looking. So you might want to check that out before you purchase if you have the ability to. Overall, wonderful figure. I think she's fantastic. Where Raven failed, this figure completely succeeds. This could have been a Raven situation where, you know, it's a pretty simple character, a solid colored suit, but they really took the time to put nice little details here and there and made her, I think, one of the nicest figures so far. I think she's really cool with the other Batman figures. And she even looks neat with the Outsiders as well, and the Titans. Why not? She looks good with all of them. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please stay tuned for a quick teaser of the next figure in the line. I wonder how many of you guys are going to know who this guy is. It's going to be a fun one, I think, though. Yeah, stay tuned for that if you would, please. Once again, I have been your host, the MonkeyBoy, aka Jay to his friends. Thank you so much for watching.